Hey, Steven here from Leadjetty.com. In the last video, we went through our quick start process and we set up an initial flow. And I went ahead and filled it out one time in the demo, filled out the form, and you can see here that we have one response. Just as a quick getting started point, if you want to see the responses, we're going to add a link right here, so this is clickable, but you can click on this icon over on the left and it's going to prompt you to click on a property, which I will explain properties in one of the next videos. But if you click on property, you can see here this is the information I entered, and if you click that, it's going to pull up whatever details are here. And this is a page where we're actively working on the design, so you should expect this to change and get upgraded pretty significantly, and we'll be putting out some tutorials on things you can do with this page because there's a lot going on here. The point of this video is to actually look at how we can customize the flow that we created last time. So to get started with that, let's click into the flow here, and we'll go ahead and just bypass this screen. We'll do a more in-depth explanation of variants soon. But we'll click View Steps here. So I just want to quickly run through several things that we can do to change this up, customize it, and create our own kind of experiences for our web visitors. So first of all, we have a couple of steps here. We might actually want to add elements to these steps. So suppose that we want to collect a phone number. We can click this plus icon, and this is going to present us with a list of things that we can add. So let me come over here and click phone number, and I'm going to grab this and I'm going to put this maybe above email, maybe below email. So you can sort by dragging and dropping if you hover over these handles. So you can also sort these steps in the same way. So if we grab this handle and move it over here, you'll see this reloads, and now this is step 1 and this is step 2. Now we might want to actually do this in some cases where we have a single button that says, hey, do you want a free ebook or whatever, and you click that thing and then it moves you into the next step. So we might do something like that. To get into any element, just click on this white box. If you click on the white box, it's going to pull up some kind of relevant information. So we might actually say something like, we can do our hi there with our emoji, maybe like a hand waving. We'll make all this bold and we'll make it maybe like in heading 3. And then we could say, let's just leave it like that. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. We'll save that like that. So we'll update that element. We don't want that here, so I'm just going to remove this element altogether. Now what we can do is actually click and we add another plus. And one cool trick is if you just want to have one single button, you can basically think of it like a multiple choice with only one answer. And so in our system, we have these single choice buttons. So let's click this. So as you'll see, we do provide a few templates and we're working on more, but really we're giving you almost Legos here where you can do all sorts of things. It's really up to your creativity. So what I'm going to do here is actually customize this. So again, we can click on this to change it up. And what we can do, I'm just going to make a simple thing. Obviously, this isn't real copy. You would write something way more compelling. We would say like something like 1 hour free personal finance ebook. Something like that. And then we might say in the possible answers, we might say I like emojis, and you'll see them around the app if you use the app much. That didn't work for some reason. Oh, there it goes. So we'll go, yes, give it to me. Give it to me. Okay, and now one trick in here is you have to hit a comma because that's what it makes. This is a comma separated list, and even though we only have one thing, you still have to hit a comma. Then we'll update that and we'll see that as our option. Cool. Okay, so let's go ahead and just kind of wrap this up. I'm not going to flesh this out all the way. I'm going to go ahead and remove this phone number. I decided I don't want that all of a sudden. And then last, or almost last, we got a couple of things here to cover. So if we want to add steps, we can do that by clicking this blue Add Step button. And that's just going to put an empty step here. So why would you do this? So what you might want to do is segment people after you collect their contact info. You could also do it before. It's up to you. as we'll see in a second, or probably in the next video when we go into integrations. But I'm going to go ahead and add a list of checkboxes here. And again, it's going to tell me that I need to add options. And so now we've got their email address. We can say what information or what topics would you like to learn more about. Okay, and then down here we could just say like stocks, budgeting, gold, I don't know, whatever. Any topics you're interested in or that you talk about on your site, and then we'll update this set of options here. Okay, and then maybe we'll add one more step and just say thanks. And over here, you can see this scrolls left to right. You can also click on the screen and navigate with the arrows on your keyboard. So here I'm just going to add a quick little rich text area, which is we call it paragraph down at the bottom. And this doesn't collect any data. It's just for you to actually say things to people. So you can say thanks. And again, I'm not going to go into the trouble of customizing this out. You can also add images and all sorts of things. So the one thing I will say is if you want to add an image, you want to do that by clicking this and then choosing the image option, which is in here. That'll give you an image upload. There's something in that rich text area about images, but that's not hooked up, so don't try to use that. At least not yet. We'll notify you if we change that, but for now, this is how it works. The very last thing I want to do in here before we go try this is on these steps, you'll see these little 3 dots. So if you click this, we might want to change the copy here and say like download. You can see I've typed this a few times before, so we'll say like download my free ebook, something like that. The color here is only relevant on landing pages, so is all the rest of the stuff, so just the text is what's going to matter. We're going to have to add a few things into the app. We're obviously in beta right now, but there's some options that don't always apply. So it shouldn't hurt anything if you fill it out, but you don't need to worry about it. Okay, so if I remember correctly, we already filled this out over here. And as I said in the previous video, if you want to continually do this repeatedly, you're going to want to open new incognito windows. So we'll open up a preview, and you'll see now that we've got this white area here with our our free personal finance ebook. Yes, give it to me. Cool, so let's run through it once, and then we'll go back and look at a couple of other customization things we can do. So we'll say, yes, give it to me, because there's nothing else you can do. We'll say Steven, and Steven at test.abc. And then which topics would you be interested in learning more about? Stocks and gold. And that's it. So what you could do, and we'll talk about this in the next episode on how to set this up, or the next video, what we're going to look at is right here, you would want to have a ConvertKit integration or ActiveCampaign or whatever, potentially HubSpot, broadcast this person's information over there to that system. And then on the next spot, you would want to, based on what they choose, you maybe want to add tags or segment them or something. In any case, we'll talk about that in the next video. The very last thing I want to look at here, if we go here to this edit variant name and colors, so we haven't touched the color yet. So you can see that basically we have our title here, version A, which we're going to just leave alone. And then we have this theme color, which is, this is our default color that we start with. So we have this color picker, or you can put your own hex code, and then we have this theme contrast. And if you read the little tip here, it's saying use lower contrast for bright colors and 10 for the darkest colors like black. So let me show you what I mean. So let's just set this to black, which is going to be all the way down here at the bottom. And then we'll save that, and then we'll go view steps. So suppose that your website has black and white mostly as a color, and you want to use black. What we would see is if we go to the embed code, and that's not what I want. I want to go to the preview, excuse me, sorry. So open that link in a new incognito window. Actually, let me copy the link and do a new incognito window, because that's still open the previous one. So you can see how dark this back area is right here, and then the button is black, obviously. Let me click through here, and we'll just do Steven at Leadjetty.com again. And you see how just really, really dark this is. So we added this concept of brightness. So the default is 5. So if I make this 0, let's just look at the extremes on the ends. So if I refresh this, now you're going to see it's really dark. If I go back in here and change this to 10, now it should be like basically white in the background. So now you have a white background, and it's a little bit more manageable. So the opposite is true for bright colors, and I'm not going to do a whole nother example there, but essentially you get the idea. I mean, for bright colors, you want very low brightness. For dark colors, you want to turn the brightness up. So that's basically everything there is to know about customizing a flow right now. Obviously, play around with it and you'll get a better sense for how it all works. And if you have any questions or get hung up anywhere at all, be sure to reach out to me at Stephen, Stephen, at Leadjetty.com. Thanks for watching, and in the next video, we're going to get into integrations.